ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
Yes, sir.
And we welcome you into a What's Your Beef Wednesday edition of the Morning Rush. For some of you, through about 5 innings yesterday, or 4.5 innings, we're wondering, what's the baseball team doing? 1-1. Then all of a sudden, Bahava gets it going. He was 4 for 4 yesterday, 5 RBIs. Guy is nearly hitting 300 now. And he's in the low 200s at first. Justin, Hawaii guy, played Sacramento State last year. It was a little colder. Fayetteville, Arkansas at first. Starting to warm up. His bat's heating up, man. It's looking good. Hopefully he continues on as this Arkansas baseball team will host the Florida Gators this weekend. And Joe Caglione, one of the best players in college baseball, are with Charlie Condon, who's hitting like an insane 400 and something, and that kid from Oregon State too. So that's where we start this morning. If you have a beef, get them in here. It's 877-377-6963 on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Maybe the beef is that as a 40, 50, 60-year-old, you don't get a chance to listen to Clay till 7 o'clock. He's going to join us an hour early. Maybe you want to hear him starting at 6 a.m. Well, Clay will be here at 7 a.m., an hour early this morning. Last day off for Tommy. Maybe a beef of yours is Tommy gets to play golf for 3 straight days, and you're having to go to work like normal. Well, I guess that's what happens when you're the boss. You can go golf in the middle of April or the end of April, wherever you want to look at it. But that is what he's doing. He'll be back tomorrow. Chuck will be on with us tomorrow. Tom Murphy will be on with us tomorrow. But we got Clay coming up, also Brandon Marcelo at 8 a.m. So I have a beef. My beef, I would say, is for whatever reason, like we pay for this subscription service, and I could not get it logged on to my television or my iPad or my phone. I can watch games and stuff on the app, but I could not watch the Arkansas game on SEC Network Plus on any of those devices yesterday. Now, I was fine with listening on ESPN 95.3. I always enjoy listening to Phil Elson. In fact, if you watched the simulcast yesterday, and I say simulcast because all they did for the audio was put Phil's audio, and they timed it up with the television viewing process. That was it was synced up together. It was like a high school broadcast, basically. I just got to be honest. Like, I'm not throwing stones at anyone, but that's what it was in North Little Rock. Now, you'll take that over not having anything at all. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I know some of you would have hoped for higher quality, but anytime you can hear Phil Elson, it's pretty high quality, especially when it comes to Arkansas baseball. He does a fantastic job. We're lucky to have him here in Arkansas. So that was a beef of mine, not just getting that going this morning. What is your beef this morning? Can't be Arkansas basketball, right? I mean, you seemingly are when it comes to college basketball, maybe not so much college sports as much as it was the first couple days of Cal's announcement that Cal's hire, but you're still the number one topic in college basketball right now. Not the two-time defending national champion UConn Huskies and Dan Hurley, who are trying to embark on a third title. Not Mark Pope in Kentucky. It starts, the basketball conversation starts and ends in Fayetteville, Arkansas right now. And again, that's probably not a beef of yours. That's probably a happy place that you find yourself in here on Wednesday at 6:04 in the morning. But maybe something else is agitating you, irritating you, or whatever. We will get into all that this morning. Got some encouraging news about some former Razorbacks in both the professional and, in the professional leagues and the in baseball and basketball last night, including a clutch hit from Andrew Benintendi, some Patrick Beverly and Bobby Portis stuff. Not a lot so far from Daniel Gafford. I mean, he looks injured to me for the Dallas Mavericks. I hope he gets healthy. Lively's been key for them. Luka Doncic had a good game. Kyrie Irving made some plays. The Mavericks tied up that series 1-1 yesterday. Bucks ended up losing. Bobby and Patrick ended up losing to Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers. And then you also had the Minnesota Timberwolves take a 2-0 series lead over Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns. Oklahoma City in action tonight. Unfortunately, it's late. I'm going to try to get a nap in later today so I can watch Isaiah and I can watch Jalen, because they have been fun to watch at this morning so far in these playoffs and really just all season long. Their chemistry, both off the floor, on the floor, seems to be there. And it's always cool to see two former Razorbacks perform. So we got baseball to discuss. We were talking about that. And also basketball too, and some news with Clay with football. He wrote a really good piece. If you haven't read it yet on hitthatline.com, I would encourage you to do so. We're going to ask him about that. Excuse me, later on this morning. I have not had my coffee yet. I have not had my throat coat tea yet. So my voice is a little hoarse this morning. I'm going to try and restore it as best as possible during the break. So just bear with me as we get going on this first segment. Hey, you don't have to put up with anything at TGI Fridays. Listen to these happy hour specials at TGI Fridays that are twice daily, Monday through Friday, from 3 to 6 and 9 till close. You got half-price drinks and $5 appetizers like potato skins, spinach dip, mozzarella sticks, pot stickers, steakhouse meatballs, and more. So if you're looking for a great place to just hang out after work or late night during the week, TGI Fridays is the place to be in Fort Smith, right off the interstate, right off Rogers Avenue in the heart of Fort Smith. Colton, one thing you'll understand about doing these radio shows is your voice is your moneymaker. So when it's down, man, it's not the best. I got to get some water real quick.
I'm ready to jump in at any time, Ty. You've been fighting this off for a couple days now. It's been a really valiant effort. It's honestly an inspiration to see you because, like you said, your voice is your moneymaker. And when you show up and it doesn't work, it's like a race car driver. The car doesn't start.
Yeah.
So, I feel you. We'll get you through today. Tommy will be back tomorrow. You don't have to carry all this load, but you're doing a really good job, Ty. We're super excited. That you still have that passion, that drive, that just a little hoarseness, a little croak in your throat. It's not going to stop you.
Yeah, hopefully it subsides. It will be good to have Tommy back in tomorrow and line off some of the load because I don't know what this. And I guess let's see. B in Clarksville cites the pollen. That is outrageous. Oh no, who was the pollen? Oh, Mason. Excuse me, on the McCarty Daniel hotline saying the pollen is really getting to him. I understand. Again, it's gotten to me for whatever reason. I usually don't lose my voice because of allergies, but it is today. B in Clarksville says he has an opposite beef. He has a happiness that he heard Phil on the television broadcast. Yeah, again, it was. I want to be clear about something. Phil's my ride or die guy. It's been that way for nearly 6 years now since we've been team members here. We did a show together. I love that dude. I don't want to place any ill will or to anything towards Brett Nolan, Troy Eklund, and I'm forgetting the former Razorback that occasionally fills in from time to time for Troy. You might have to help me out with that, but because I think Brett's really good at his job, knows a lot of baseball, occasionally listens to the show as well. So both guys do a great job. So I don't want people to take that as a slight on Brett and their team and what they do with SEC Network Plus. Quentin says it's too much pollen for too many days on the golf course. Yeah, you're probably right. Andy says it's from all the smoking. Yeah, that's true. And Robert, you're right. Robert and Conway text in. I've said Joe Caglio. It's Jack Caglio. That's my apologies. I've said it correct probably 100 times this week, but did not say it off the jump. Jack Caglione and the Florida Gators coming to town this weekend as one of the guys that will probably be a finalist for the Golden Spikes Award. You played a great hitter yesterday, and we'll talk about some more baseball coming up and your beefs and what are some pro Hogs doing in both the NBA and the MLB. Stay with us. It is a What's Your Beef Wednesday. I know mine. It's my voice. It's here, hopefully, coming soon on the Morning Rush.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
Ty, you're going to like this. As I wrote it, I was thinking about you.
This is the Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Hey there, business ballers and entrepreneurs. Ready to make your financial dreams come true? Well, get ready to score big with SwishFunding.com, the slam dunk solution for all your business funding needs. Just like that satisfying swish when the ball goes in, SwishFunding.com guarantees you a seamless funding experience. Working capital, expanding your business, upgrading your equipment, or even covering payroll. If you have at least $25,000 in monthly revenue and been in business for at least 1 year, qualifying is easier than a layup. At Swish Funding, we fund up to $5 million in 24 hours. SwishFunding.com's team will guide you every step of the way. No more banking red tape, just quick, decisive action to get you back in the game. Head over to SwishFunding.com and slam dunk your financial goals today. Remember, it's not just a shot in the dark, it's a surefire swish. Go to SwishFunding.com. That's SWISH funding.com. SwishFunding.com.
This is the Morning Rush.
Colby Hamilton! Can you believe it? You will never find a boring old burger at Art's Barbecue and Burgers in Fort Smith. Try the Wild West Burger, topped with a hot link, jalapenos, and Art's hot sauce. The Brisket Burger, with tender brisket and caramelized onions on top of their hand-patted burger. Or the famous Art Attack, with house bacon, smoked ham, an onion ring, and a fried egg. There are 10 different burgers to choose from, and they're all $1 off every Saturday. Art's Barbecue Burgers and more. Rogers Avenue, next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Tired of spending all your hard-earned cash at the gas pump right now? Wheeler Power Sports is here to help you out. They have a giant selection of motorcycles and scooters to help maximize fuel efficiency. There are over 50 scooters in stock right now, with some getting up to 100 miles per gallon. Wheeler also has a great selection of motorcycles from the Kawasaki, Suzuki, and Kimco. Check out their full inventory at WheelerPowersports.com or check out their showroom in person at 901 North 11th Street near downtown Fort Smith. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling.
It's spring cleaning sale time at Jelco Outdoors. Savings from 50 to 75% off on select clothing, footwear, hunting and fishing equipment, casual clothing, hunting clothing, work clothing for men, women, and children, work boots, safety shoes, western boots, all 50 to 75% off. Rods, reels, baits, hunting equipment, all 50 to 75% off. Select group of handguns, rifles, and shotguns in the firearms department at cost or below. Don't miss the big spring cleaning sale at Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote. Get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSAuto.com.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen, or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time, every time.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith, or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best dark pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. West Arc Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact West Arc Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. West Arc Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call West Arc Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
How sweet it is to be loved by you.
Good morning, gents. I listen to you guys a lot. It's still the same good show it's always been. I appreciate it.
The 2-2. There's a drive by Suzanne to right center field. He got it. 2 hops to the fence. And here's a run to score as Aloy comes in. Diggs will try to score from first. He gets there easily.
Please rate and review the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Give us 5 stars to help us get our content out to the rest of the Razorback family. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
Great text from BE on the McCarty Daniel hotline saying, today would be a good day to bang the phones. I think my voice is going to be better. Clay's going to help out. He's going to carry the water as he usually does when me and him are together. And coming up at 7, we'll talk with Brandon Marcelo too. But yes, today is going to be a good day to talk with people on the McClarty Daniel hotline, which we'll do with Ryan in Hot Springs in just one sec. But before we do that, I want to tell you about the Hangout. Have you been? Are you trying to lose weight if you're living in the River Valley? Well, the Hangout is a perfect place that you can do that. It's not overcrowded. It's got 8,000 square feet of facilities. You got indoor tennis, pickleball, basketball, and more. I was just there this week. One of my buddies getting married this weekend. Yes, I'll be in attendance for that. I know that I'm probably going to get some fun made. I'm going to get made fun of a little bit right on from Tommy this week because I do have a wedding this weekend, but he's trying to get in wedding shape. He was there this week. Saw a lot of people there earlier this week, and I understand why. I mean, they've got indoor soccer leagues. They've got basketball courts. They've got everything at the Hangout, plus 3 active tennis pros, pickleball courts. I know pickleball is as popular as a sport is right now. So if you're looking for a place that not only is a great place to work out, but a great place to hang out with the community, stop by 5400 Gary Street or thehangoutfs.com for more information. Be a part of something different, something better than Fort Smith is needed. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out. And let's talk to Ryan in Hot Springs. Ryan, you got some thoughts on baseball this morning?
Yeah, I was going to tell you, the guy you were thinking of, Logan Forsythe.
That's it. Yeah, I could not, for whatever reason, now it was on the tip of my tongue, and I know that they announced that before the season. Thank you, Ryan.
No problem. So, you was talking about how good they were, and talking about the other guys on the other show, but it kind of kills me. I thought last night was a nice little reprieve, if you will, because I can't count the times that we've been up and been the better team, and those guys are sitting there talking like the other team's not only better but beating us. I mean, it's a little out there about the way they kind of treat this Arkansas team. They were talking about how Arkansas, which they do trend to do this, where they win by having one really big inning, but the way I picked up on it, they were talking about how they go on, or I'm going to word this right. They make it sound like that's the only way Arkansas wins.
It's one big inning.
I've seen them do that multiple times. Yeah, they make it sound like that's the only way Arkansas wins. And I get it. We've done some of that, but let's also not act like that's the only way we win too, if that makes sense.
I think this team has shown the ability to do it different ways. I would really be interested. One of the things, Ryan, I want to see them play Tennessee and Hoover, because that's the unstoppable force of the Tennessee bats versus the immovable object, which is Arkansas pitching. We don't get a chance to see that in regular season. I kind of want to see how that would fare in postseason.
Right. Well, that's my thoughts. I agree with you 100% on the Tennessee thing. I thought that'd be a really good matchup, and I'm kind of surprised with the Vitello and Coach Van Horn thing. I'm surprised they haven't tried to manufacture a rivalry out of that. I do hope y'all have a great day, and go Hogs.
All right, appreciate the call. Again, according to Dave Van Horn, tongue-in-cheek at the Swatters Club, it sounds like both the Tennessee Volunteers and the Texas Longhorns are coming to Baum-Walker Stadium this next year. So that's an expectation. Now, Dave Van Horn, I know, is happy to be back in Baum-Walker Stadium, place they've won 25 straight games. I know that North Little Rock still is within the confines of the state of Arkansas, but he said yesterday after the game, sure feels like that they've been playing on the road a lot lately.
It seems like we've been on the road for 2 weeks straight. We've just played a lot of games, but it's been good for our team to travel and play and win, and it's nice playing in this environment. It's amazing.
It was a pretty solid. It was a late arriving crowd, but if you watched it like Ryan did with Phil Elson, or you just listened to it, you saw that they started to fill up a little bit. Is it as intimidating? Is it as hostile as Bob Walker Stadium? Absolutely not. But Dickey-Stevens is a good place to watch the game. I guess the beef for some of you would be that it felt like a high school broadcast. I was just happy to have it on television, to be perfectly honest. Now, speaking of baseball, I do want to tell you what Andrew Benintendi did last night, which was pretty cool. Had a big hit for the Chicago White Sox in the top of the 8th. Here it is.
White Sox looking for an insurance run. We'll leave it up to Andrew Benintendi. Benintendi comes through in the 8th. Here it comes Mendick, and Jimenez will score as well. 2 runs driven in by Andrew Benintendi. Just what the Sox needed.
Now think about that. It's 5-2 at that point in the top of the 8th. They're up 5-2. And then Minnesota ends up walking it off in the bottom of the 9th. And I want you to listen to the dynamic of the 2 calls. First, it's the Minnesota broadcaster and how crazy he is. And then you hear the Chicago White Sox guy. Take a listen.
Full count to Kirilloff. Sharply hit, base hit right field. Martin scores. Twins win. Twins win. The Minnesota Twins win it.
That's the best feeling there is, meeting your teammates after a walk-off win.
It was a fastball, and Kirilloff pulled it through. Martin scored, and the Twins win back-to-back games against the White Sox.
I love the dynamic of pairing those 2 calls up back-to-back. It is wild always to hear the broadcaster for the winning team versus the broadcaster for the losing team. But unfortunately, Andrew Benintendi and the Chicago White Sox lost yesterday, as did Bobby Portis and Patrick Beverly. Bobby still had himself a solid game last night.
Portis posted up with possession and run. But do your work early. Bobby Portis able to seal the outcome inside.
So Bobby Portis ended up finishing with 14 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists and a steal. Probably could have shot it a little better, but still a big reason why the Bucks have a chance to win this series as they now travel to Indiana, tied 1-1 with the Pacers. All right, a lot to get to. Richard Davenport's going to join us coming up. There are some new Boogie Flan, and you got some other guys that are probably making some visits. We'll get some insight from RD coming up in just a sec. I was driving down Rogers Avenue yesterday, Fort Smith, and I saw a sign outside of Art's Barbecue and Burgers about a new patty melt. I'm not making it past this weekend without trying it. Wade Morgan always whipping up something good in the back. And this patty melt has me intrigued because their burgers are fantastic and they're $1 off on Saturday. But I don't think I've had a patty melt from Art's before. So by the end of the week, I'm going to try it. And I can't wait. And you need to try it too. Art's Barbecue and Burgers off Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. All right, when we return, like I said, RD joins us on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. That's next on the Morning Rush.
The Cal era is here. Championship Under Construction is brought to you by Limbird Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to LimbirdTeam.com. Limbird Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to LimbirdTeam.com. Maverick Male Medical, your wellness and aesthetic center for men in Northwest Arkansas. Look better, live better, love better. Visit MaverickMaleMedical.com.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV. Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. The Fence Man recently built new gates for my existing fence. The whole process was easy, quick, and most importantly, affordable. Plus, 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available with The Fence Man. If you need a new fence, gate, or anything that involves a fence, call The Fence Man, 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is the Morning Rush.
We got to show them we are the University of Arkansas.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where it's spring cleaning time. The lot is blooming with fresh road-ready certified inventory and weekly specials that could save you up to $4,000. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in the Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Better yet, trade today and save up to $4,000 during spring cleaning at Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Hey, this is Ty Richardson for Jake Neal and his team at Jerry Neal's Barbecue. Jake's dad, Jerry, started cooking barbecue at Jerry Neal's in 1977, and Jake took over and has been doing the same thing ever since. I got ribs the last time I was there. Woo! Man, they were good. Don't forget about the catfish either. It's cooked to order, so it's hot and fresh every single time. The best catfish in the River Valley. Jerry Neal's Barbecue, Catfish, and Catering, 1823 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith.
Diamond Center is proud to present our inaugural Whiskey and Watches event. Now is your chance to get your hands on that timeless timepiece you've been dreaming of. Between now and Thursday, April 25th, in our Fort Smith store, call or stop by to pre-order your watch. Then join us on Thursday, April 25th for a night of celebration featuring rare whiskeys, cigars, and luxury watches. This is your opportunity to add that watch that you've always had an eye on to your collection. For more information or to pre-order your watch today, give us a call. The Diamond Center, celebrating a legacy of love.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
How do I drive more traffic to my website? How do I increase my Google rankings? If these are just a few of the questions you have for your business, then we should talk. In addition to sports radio marketing, ESPN Arkansas can help your business be found online. From website design to geo-targeted campaigns, search engine marketing, social media management, streaming video campaigns, and much more. ESPN Arkansas is your digital marketing partner. Go to espnarkansasdigital.com for your free digital marketing audit, or email us at sales@hitthatline.com to schedule an appointment.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
I think I side with Ty as much as anybody. I've listened to this program for years. First time I've called in.
1-0. High fly ball into right center, carrying on the run is Peyton Holt. A lunging catch near the warning track by Peyton Holt.
Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963.
We always enjoy our conversations with Richard Davenport every single Wednesday at 6:30. And we're going to have another one via the McClarty Daniel hotline coming up in just a bit. Before we do that, I want to tell you about our friends at Riley Farm Dental. It's at the entrance to Riley Farms. Provides every type of dental care procedures for you and your family. That's general dentistry, braces, implants, cosmetics. Dr. Spartman, Davis, and Farmer give all their patients better lives and a better smile. They're now offering same-day crowns too. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Farm Dime, Suite A, the entrance at Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 or visit RileyFarmDental.com. We're going to visit, again, as with Richard Davenport here on the McCarty Dental Hotline. Richard, I'll start basketball. And I know Cal does it differently, right? Like we don't see as much stuff on social media. Occasionally see a report here and there, but sure sounds like Boogie Fland and Billy Richmond, two guys that were committed to Cal, Kentucky, now we're going to be making a visit to Fayetteville sometime today or tonight.
Yeah. Both of them are expected in, and when you have a name like Bogey, you know he's pretty good. So obviously a McDonald's All-American. Just recently played in the Jordan Brand Classic. Number 2 point guard in the country, according to ESPN, number 15 overall prospect. And then Billy is a guy that good size as far as from a physical standpoint, 6'6", about 200, small forward who obviously was highly recruited, a consensus 4-star, and just two guys that could have went just about anywhere in the country and wanted to go to Kentucky. Excuse me, that's a tongue twister, and play for Cal. And now looking at Arkansas and their teammate, or what was going to be their teammate at Kentucky, obviously Carter Knox has committed. So I'm sure Carter's in their ear trying to get them on board. So standing at 2 commitments, and I think it looks good to add 2 more fairly soon.
Well, you just taught me something already. It's Bogey, not Boogie. I just, based on the spelling, assumed it was Boogie. So I've already learned something there.
You know what? I said that too. But yeah.
Well, sometimes you just never. That's why you always ask. When I meet guys or gals, I always just ask to make sure, because you know what they say about assuming. But you mentioned Carter Knox's name there. He's the first commit. I know Big Z in terms of out of high school. Big Z was the first Arkansas guy to actually commit to this program and sign. That's been double checked. But what is you talk with guys all the time, both in state and out of state. I mean, how big of a deal is it for just to play with other studs? I mean, Carter Knox is a stud. What does that do in today's age of college sports when you see at least one guy decide, hey, this is where I want to go to school? How much attention, how much more does that potentially add where another young man or two is making the decision?
Oh, huge. I mean, obviously you want to play with other guys that are of your caliber, and also it opens up your game too. I mean, you have 5 outstanding players on the court. It's kind of hard to double up, you know. So it's something that you look for in schools. Most of the high caliber elite guys, and you don't want to go somewhere and struggle. You want to win and possibly win a national championship, and that's what Carter told me the other day when he committed. He wants to win a national championship, and I'm sure that's what everybody else wanted to do that committed and signed with Kentucky in the six-man class. But I imagine the guys coming in today feel the same way.
The Chicken Man's coming to town. I know he also talked about that too, and he spoke to not only his relationship with Calipari, but also Kenny Payne. I mean, I don't think we should overlook that, Richard. Do you?
No, I mean, he called both of them. He told me both of them were, they're his uncles. So he obviously feels very strongly about both of those guys. And Kenny Payne, I mean, obviously has been with Coach Cal before at Kentucky, and was, and when Kentucky obviously was highly successful. So for those two guys to reunite and in Fayetteville, I think that's huge for obviously the program, but also recruiting wise, because evidently he really makes a connection with guys.
It is cool to see some former Razorbacks that you've covered, like Bobby Portis and Patrick Beverly, Daniel Gafford. I know that AB, Ricky, Jordan are not playing, but I mean Bobby's the centerpiece of the team right now with Giannis out last night. Have you been keeping up with much of what's going on in the NBA playoffs, RD?
No, I'll be honest with you. I haven't been able to. All I know is that Bobby's up for the Sixth Man Award. I'm really happy for him there. I mean, here's a guy that in high school that you knew that he was going to make it just because of his work ethic. He was always working on his game, and some guys would like to take a little time off here or there. Bobby did not do that even when he had an opportunity to take it a little easy. He was always working on his game with a trainer or somebody, and I'm just really happy for him. I mean, obviously, when you work hard and you have talent and you're driven, all those things really add up to success, and that's Bobby.
Well, Richard has talent, and he works hard, and he's with us here on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. Richard, since we've talked a lot of basketball, let's talk some football with you. Arkansas has got 2 commits. Tell us about Lance Worth, the linebacker commit, and also Rodney Hill, the running back commit from Florida State.
Yeah, Worth is 6'4", 220, passes the eye test. Arkansas, wants to try to add length to the defensive side of the ball, and he definitely does that. And he visited Friday and Saturday and pulled the trigger on Saturday. So another experienced guy at the linebacker position. They're bringing in another 1 or 2 guys today for official visits, but again, length and athleticism is what stands out about him. And then Rodney Bell, 5'10", about 190 pounds, was highly recruited out of high school. Had a very, very impressive offer list when he committed to Florida State. And, a jitterbug type guy, does have some power too, but definitely an open field type runner.
And then also guys that are interested who you've talked about, Jaden Alderman and Anthony Switzer, guys that might be, and I think you said are visiting soon.
Yeah, they're visiting today. Should get in around noonish. And then they'll leave on Thursday. But Jalen, what was really impressive here, and I'm sure Arkansas probably had a heads up on him entering the portal, but he entered the portal yesterday. Arkansas was instantly able to get a visit from him. So 6'1", 230 pounds, another experienced guy who had a strong season for Louisville this past season. And then with Switcher, he's an Arkansas native, played at Marion, 6 foot, about 215, played 3 seasons at Arkansas State, and had like 91 tackles. I think this past season he had around 85 at Utah State, and he just recently also entered the portal yesterday, and they were able to lock him in for an official visit. So be kind of interested to see what happens with both of them. I tend to think with them locking in the official visit so quickly, Arkansas may be in pretty good shape with both of them.
Richard, as we close you down here, I found this interesting that Arkansas basketball, as we flip back to basketball on you, they offered the number 1 player in the class of 2025, AJ Dabancia, I think is how you say his name, stud. It's so odd for me to see that. And I know that Musk got in some guys. I don't want to diminish what he did there because he got some McDonald's All-Americans, AB, Nick, Jordan last year, some other guys that stand out. But do Arkansas fans have to reframe how they think of their basketball program or really just kind of go back 30 years to what Nolan was cooking here back in the day?
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as just talent, just period, no other coach in the country has ever, I don't want to say ever, but in the last, 15, 20 years has recruited like Cal. There's no one. I wrote about that, when when he first was mentioned and got the job. I mean, it's incredible. All of his recruiting classes at Kentucky, all of them, but 2 were either number 1 or number 2 in the country during his time at Kentucky. I mean, that's just plain incredible. And I think 50 plus guys taken in the NBA draft. I mean, the amount of talent that he's assembled during his coaching career, not only at Kentucky but UMass and Memphis, was just mind-boggling. And I think that's what you're going to see at Arkansas too. I mean, Arkansas obviously is not the blue blood that Kentucky is, but Arkansas is still one of the top programs in the country. So, and that's one. One thing that I think the guys will see, that maybe don't have high expectations of Arkansas. Carter Cox. I think Carter Knox was blown away by the practice facility. I don't know if Kentucky has anything like Arkansas's practice facility, and he was astonished by that. So I think you got everything possible that you need to recruit at a high level, and then with Cal's background and what he's done in the past, I feel like he's obviously going to do the same at Arkansas.
Richard, we appreciate it, man. I do think that's one of the reasons that Cal was and Barnhart's relationship deteriorated in Lexington, is there didn't seem to be any initiative to updating or growing that facility there in Lexington. RD, good stuff, man. We'll do it next week.
All right, guys. We'll see you.
I know beefs with RD. Do still have a beef with my boys here on a What's Your Beef Wednesday. Don't have a beef with John Calipari right now. Now, that could change in postseason play, and if Arkansas has an early round exit these next couple of years with the stud team, but we'll have to wait on that. We got a long way to go, as it's April the 24th till we get to next March. Well, you're hoping that that Cal is constructing the championship right now, and our championship under construction is brought to you by the Lindbergh Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to lindberghteam.com, and by Maverick Male Medical, your wellness and aesthetic center for men in Northwest Arkansas. Look better, live better, love better. Visit maverickmalemedical.com. All right, I've referenced the beef for 2 this morning. Might as well get into it. It is a What's Your Beef Wednesday edition of the Morning Rush.
What is wrong with you? I want to complain. I'm complaining. I want to complain about complaining. I want to complain. It really pisses me off today
to simply listen to people whine and complain.
I'm angry. I'm spitting angry. I'm like a tornado of anger, swirling about. My heart rate is dangerously high right now.
I'm complaining because not enough people tickle, hug, or smile.
I'm so mad I could eat ball bearings and crap BBs.
It's time for What's Your Beef Wednesday.
I think the majority of us have been to concerts and enjoyed concerts, whether outdoors, indoors, your favorite artists, a lesser-known artist. This is something we like to do, not just here in Arkansas, but in the United States. Now, some of you enjoy country, some of you enjoy rap, some of you enjoy a variety of different things. And regardless of what the genre of music is, you like going to these live events. Now, as I've heard from some of my friends that are 20, 30, 40 years older than me, the older they get, the less you like to be around people, which I understand. But if you are a concert goer and you take in your favorite artist specifically, you give them a little leeway, right? You give them a little slack if they're late coming up on stage. And I think for them, this is something they look forward to for months on end, waiting to come to see you. Well, for the Madonna fans out there, I don't know how many Madonna fans we have listening in the Morning Rush right now. She is getting sued again for late arriving to her concerts, which, according to this article, is a consumer's worst nightmare. Now, I've seen artists, like when they announce that, hey, the artist is supposed to come on in, it's usually like 30 minutes to an hour, but like a 2-hour delay, like she had back-to-back nights, and I think it's Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C., and apparently, according to this lawsuit that she's getting sued with, she lip-synced portions of this concert. That would tick me off. Like, they have the artist set up, right? You're like, the concert starts at 7, and there's 3 artists before yours goes on, then you can expect probably around 10 o'clock, our artist is going to go on. And if Madonna's concert was set to start at 8 and there wasn't a person before her and she didn't show up till 10, I would be a little hacked off. The latest concert I've ever been to started between 1:30 and 2 o'clock in the morning in Las Vegas. I will never do that again. I expected it to start at 11 because that's what it said. And the fact that it nearly started 2.5 to 3 hours late ticked me off. Didn't even stay for it. Not nearly. I think it went on till 4 or 5 a.m. I left at like 2:30 to 3 o'clock. I was exhausted. This was after Arkansas had lost to UConn. I was a little depressed. Ended up going up a day early. Did have a great time seeing Tony, our friend Tony, Treasure Island Tony, there at Treasure Island, and all the Hog fans, but just was a little depressed after Arkansas got blasted by the eventual national champion. But that's a worthy beef to me. 2 hours late for a concert? 2 hours late? That seems a little egregious. And Madonna fans, I think, are rightfully angry. They're righteously angry, as I like to say. I think within like 30 minutes to an hour, you're still pushing it, but it's kind of understandable based on concert goers. Like, being fashionably late is like supposedly cool. I've never understood that. Like, I try to be places on time. Now, there are times when I am late. It's not on purpose, but I do understand that a little bit. Getting some text here on the McCarty Daniel hotline. If you've got a thought on this, you can do so at 877-377-6960. Smack Daddy jokes that his beef is Tommy leaving me out to dry with a voice. Well, his golf trip's been planned for a while. I just happened to get sick in an inopportune time. Annie Mountain Home says, and I say sick, it was allergies at first. Now I would say I'm coughing up gunk, so maybe I am a little sick or worse for the wear. Hopefully it'll be gone by the end of the week. Annie Mountain Home, he's beef this morning. The outrageous fees on Ticketmaster's changed, and they charge for his College World Series tickets. Annie, why don't you text that fee in? I want to hear what that fee is. Hog Caller in Huntsville points out that Madonna has to sober up before she goes out on stage. That could be the case. I've never been to one of her concerts. I don't know much about her. I know she's famous, but that's really the extent. Troy at Charleston's not beefing about this weekend. He's going to go to the game, it sounds like, and go to Brew Pig Suey on Sunday for 11-2. He's going to take in the 25 local breweries for just $40, and you pay an extra $20 to go to the game. You get a T-shirt, a glass, and you get beer. That seems like a pretty good deal for $40 to me. I'd say that's worth the price if you're going this weekend. Again, Florida Gators in town. I am curious with the weather. I would say another beef of mine is the weather this weekend. It's the first game you've had on a weekend in a couple weeks, and it sure looks like, and it sounds like, if you listen to your local weatherman or weather woman, I don't know what the proper, I think it's weather woman, that we're going to have some inclement weather this weekend, which, again, you've been in Tuscaloosa and Columbia. You'd like to have some good weather to keep up that 25-game win streak. I don't know if they keep the 25 going. Mentioned Jack Caglione coming in. Florida's not great. I think they're 8-10 in conference, if I remember that right. But Kevin O'Sullivan's won a couple national championships. He's no slouch. He knows how to coach baseball, and they'll be gunning for a series win this weekend. I can't even read this text that Ram sent in on the McCarty Daniel hotline because it's inappropriate. But, yes, that is what my voice sounds like. That is a text I cannot read, unfortunately. Let's see. Michael in Cave Springs adds in on the McClarty Daniel hotline that if you're in the military time, so if you're not 5 minutes early, you're late. Being 5 minutes early to everything is a good rule of thumb. I'm anal. I've talked about that before when it comes to a lot of things, planning, getting somewhere here and there. I'm also antsy. I have one friend that is the antsiest person when it comes to golf. Like he'll get to the driving range before our round, like an hour and a half before we play. It's the funniest thing in the world. It cracks me up every single time. All right, Brent's in Searcy this morning on the McCarty Daniel hotline. He has a beef. Brent, what is your beef here on this fine Wednesday?
My beef is with ESPN Plus this past weekend. The South Carolina game had already started on Friday before it clicked up on the screen where we could get to it. It was driving me absolutely insane. I don't know if you noticed that or not, Ty.
I did not notice that. That did not. I did not pick up on that, to be honest, Brent.
And I sure wish they'd let the Viz have 2 feeds of it. If we could just listen to Phil Elson on the road doing the radio and the TV for the Razorbacks, that would be awesome. Because last night was fantastic listening to Phil do Arkansas UAPB on the ESPN Plus and on the radio. That was fantastic.
You think with all the technology we have, Brent, and I appreciate your call this morning, you would think, so last night, for example, it's a road game of sorts, it's neutral site, whatever. I mean, it's still inside the confines of the state of Arkansas. Dickey-Stevens Park is not where they typically play home games. We saw it last night happen. It wasn't the best quality. I'll admit that. It was a high school broadcast that they put on SEC Plus, but you still take that, right? I'm with Brent. When these guys aren't on the road, now again, when they're at home, like listen to Brett, like listen to Troy, like listen to Logan Forsythe. I'm cool with that. But when they're on the road, like when they go to College Station and they go to Lexington, give me the Phil Elson SEC Network Plus broadcast rather than, as Brent just pointed out, the other guys. And listen, I don't have to homer up. Like I'll listen to other broadcasters. It doesn't bother me that much, but I know it bothers you. I know Brent's not the only one that ticks off that you hear more about the other team than your team. That's perfectly fine. Slap Phil Elson's voice. There should be a setting on the SEC Network Plus where you can pick which broadcast feed you want. It's not that hard, I don't think. I've been in RSN since I was in college, working up and down those halls. But I would think that that's possible. And we talked to Michelle Glover over at RSN. Say, Michelle, can we get this happening? Talk to anyone else that handles the road stuff. Hey, can we get this working? Because I know all you listening would love that. Not that you don't love listening to Phil just on the radio, but you love Phil's radio voice and you love having that aspect. So, Brent, I'm with you wholeheartedly. No pushback whatsoever last night. Scott Fort Smith wishes Bubba was on last night. I'm surprised Bubba didn't make that trip, Scott. I don't know. He's busy this time of year too. We got to remember that, but I'm surprised. JB May texted in on the McCarty Daniel hotline. His beef this Wednesday is Fairweather fans, the ESPN app, and Texas A&M being the number 1 team in the country. Anyone but the Aggies. Yeah, I can agree with you on that. Ole Miss baseball is the worst, but A&M's not too far behind. All right, we got a lot to discuss in hour number 2. Clay just texted me he's eating breakfast. He got a text from former Arkansas Razorback assistant Todd Butler. So we're talking with Clay coming up in just a bit. Before we do that, let's tell you about the Fence Man. 782-3936. That's 479-782-3936 for your commercial, your residential, any fencing job repair that you need or any building you need. The Fence Man can take care of you. He ain't afraid of any work. Sean's not afraid of picking games either. He'll be picking them with us again this Friday. One more time, 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. The Hall of Famer joins us on the other side.
Hello there, homeowner. Roger Scott for Leaf Guard Gutters of Arkansas. Are you tired of dealing with clogged gutters, climbing ladders, and worrying about potential damage to your home? Well, listen up to me now. Leaf Guard of Arkansas has got you covered. Introducing Leaf Guard, the only true one-piece seamless covered gutter system on the market, guaranteed to never, ever clog. With Leaf Guard, you can kiss goodbye to all the hassle of climbing up and cleaning out all that muck and mud and shingle grit. No more hiring someone else to do it, or worse yet, risking serious damage and issues by doing nothing at all. Spring is finally here, which means it's time for Leaf Guard's famous Ugly Gutter event. Leaf Guard will swoop in, take down, and haul away all those unsightly gutters at absolutely no charge, and you'll receive an incredible 60% off installation on a whole house Leaf Guard gutter system. But wait, there's more. Ask about the 0% financing options and additional discounts for seniors and military personnel. Do not let ugly gutters ruin your home's curb appeal or cause costly damage. Call 501-664-5400 or visit leafguardandmore.com to schedule your free estimate today. Leaf Guard of Arkansas, protecting your home one seamless gutter at a time.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama. You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. You need the Lindbergh team, home of Arkansas's only instant offer program. Get a cash offer on your home in only 72 hours. Lindbergh Real Estate Group is the #1 team in Arkansas with over $1 billion sold and voted best of the best 10 years in a row, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and now the River Valley. Find out more at lindberghteam.com. LIMBIRD.
Ty, that's the $1 million question.
This is the Morning Rush.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains. It's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of life.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch, and Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street at Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Are you ready to work for one of the area's premier companies? If so, Forsgren wants to offer you a rewarding new career. Forsgren has been building the foundation of the River Valley for over 80 years. Forsgren is recruiting for experienced concrete finishers, equipment operators, truck drivers, and laborers. Forsgren is a destination point for men and women with a drive toward excellence. Join the Forsgren legacy. Apply now on any device, anywhere at goforsgren.com. That's goforsgren.com. Forsgren Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
It's spring cleaning sale time at Jelco Outdoors. Savings from 50 to 75% off on select clothing, footwear, hunting and fishing equipment, casual clothing, hunting clothing, work clothing for men, women, and children, work boots, safety shoes, western boots, all 50 to 75% off. Rods, reels, baits, hunting equipment, all 50 to 75% off. Select group of handguns, rifles, and shotguns in the firearms department at cost or below. Don't miss the big spring cleaning sale at Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey & Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey & Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit kevinhickeylaw.com or give them a call today, 479-434-2414. Hickey & Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we will see sunshine with a few isolated showers or storms. Our high temperatures this afternoon, mid to upper 70s. Isolated showers, a few thunderstorms with us tonight. The overnight low will drop down into the low 50s north, upper 50s south, and then scattered rain and thunder possible Wednesday. I'm Sally Russell with the forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell. Ready to serve. KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your mornings.
ESPN 95.3. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Bud Light, brewed with the best barley, rice, water, and hops to be America's favorite light beer. Bud Light, please drink responsibly.
The 1-2 to Stovall is hit high in the air to deep right. Long run for the right fielder. The center fielder, Terry, will cut him off and make the catch. And here comes Lovich trotting to the plate. And that's it. This one belongs to the Razorbacks. 11-1 for the run rule victory. And the Razorbacks pick up their 35th win of the season and are now all-time 6-0 against UAPB.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text The Morning Rush on the McClarty Daniel hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
Yes, sir.
It's always good to be with you here on a What's Your Beef Wednesday. And I've got a few beefs I want to get into this morning. You heard Brent's beef as we close out the hour. If you're just jumping in with us, he likes the idea of hearing Phil Elson's voice on away games on the television. And I don't see why they couldn't do it. Michael and Cave Springs texted in on the McClarty Daniel hotline saying on the ESPN app, you can select which team broadcast you want to listen to when it comes to the NHL. And you should be able to do that for college athletics, too. I think a lot of us would love to hear Phil on the road. You can always listen. You can always listen right here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. It's easy to do. And our Hit That Line Now app, which is available on both the Google Play and the iTunes stores. And you can also hear Clay Henry, who's going to join us an hour early. He's going to be on in just one sec. Has had a conversation with former Arkansas assistant and current Oklahoma recruiting coordinator, Todd Butler, who's fished a little bit yesterday. So we'll get into some of that stuff in just a bit. But before we do that, I want to tell you about our friends at Farm Credit of Western Arkansas. They've got over a century of proven performance, and they've been your reliable partner, providing the financial assistance that your farm or your ranch needs to stay up and running. Here's the website, myaglender.com. Or visit one of their 25 locations near you for the lending support you need from sunrise to sunset. Because I know you farmers out there, it's not an 8-hour workday. I mean, it's sunrise to sunset. That's 12, 13, 14, depending on the day. Again, Farm Credit of Western Arkansas, myaglender.com for more information. All right, let's talk with Clay.
Good morning, Ty.
Morning, Clay. How are you?
Well, I'm okay. The allergies are after me a little bit, so if my voice sounds a little rough, it's because of that. I don't feel bad, but just, got that drainage stuff going on.
That's a beef of mine, Clay. I mean,
I'm taking all the medicine you can take, but it's still zapping me.
So Betty, who you know here at our office, gave me some throat coat tea. I've been taking honey. I've been drinking coffee. I've been trying to drink like soft things like milkshake. It won't go away.
I woke up in the middle of the night. It's like, man, my throat just feels like somebody has just poured, like gasoline down it. It's just like sharp edge. So I got up and got after that a little bit. Went back to bed. I went back to sleep. But anyway, it's an extra hour today for you. I'm glad to do it, Ty.
Well, I'm happy that you're with us. We got baseball. We got basketball to discuss. Clay, let's start with maybe what happened when you were sleeping. A couple guys having some impact, including Patrick Beverly last night.
Crowd rising to its feet on that shot attempt. Pat Bev, offensive rebound. Rockets a pass to Tate Lillard, who's got another.
So we know 2 Hogs are on the Milwaukee Bucks. Patrick Beverly, who ends his night with 5 points, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 3 assists. And then Bobby Portis, who had himself 14 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. They ended up losing to the Pacers last night. That series is 1-1. No players on Minnesota or Phoenix from Hog Country. You got a lot of Kentucky guys like Karl Anthony Towns, Devin Booker, and others. Minnesota won that game, so they're up 2-0. And then in the Dallas game last night, Dallas evened up the series. Big C happy about that. Big Mavericks fan here as they win 96-93, and that series is 1-1. Daniel Gafford looks like he's playing injured, unfortunately. He ends the night with 1 rebound and 1 assist. But, Clay, it's been fun to watch these Pro Hogs, man, not just in the regular season, but they're having an impact on their playoff teams too.
Yeah, a couple of nights ago I watched it was the Thunder and the Pelicans, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And Jay Will had 18 points. It was kind of funny. I'm all fired up. He makes a 3. It's about 4 minutes to go. Give him 18 points, and they took him out. They're up by 6 or 8 or whatever it was. They took him out and put in is it Chet Holmgren?
Yes.
And I was like, don't do that. The guy's on fire. He just drained a 3 in the corner right in front of the bench. They took him out. They didn't score again for about, the next 3-4 minutes, and all at once we're behind. And, they made a couple plays at the end, but it's like, what are you thinking? I mean, it just looked like the coaching took them right out of the game.
Yeah.
It's like, of course I've got a vested interest. I want to see Jay Will. Jalen Williams is really a good player, and he's everything, in the NBA that you saw at Arkansas, that big smile, and teammates love him, and he makes the winning plays. I mean, it's just no regard for his body. He's gonna block out the best rebounder and take him out of the play, and it just makes it so much easier for all those good guards they have. But yeah, I watched a little hockey last night. I got a buddy in Colorado that's a big Avs fan, and watched Winnipeg and the Avs play. And now I went to bed, but the Avs were up 4-2. In the third, I want to say fourth quarter. It's the third period. They have 3 periods. There's a lot about hockey I don't understand, but it's like everything else. It's not that great until you get to the Stanley Cup playoffs, and then you can see how hard they're playing and what skill they have and how big they are. When they're all big guys, and you don't really just like the NFL, they all look like they're just normal sized guys, and then you stand beside them and you realize, well, they're all big.
Yeah.
they're all that size. So, I watched it was kind of cool to have Phil Elson on the call on a TV game. I thought that was nice. It's odd, no commercials. Phil's got to be careful during the breaks. He can't talk. It's like he can't. He can't say things during the breaks that he might normally have with the sound off. I guess he can turn the sound off, but there's an art to all that. He's pretty good at it. You know that he likes going there. That was his home for so many years, Dickey Stevens Park, when he did the Travs games, and kind of honed his craft. I like to hear Phil talk about some of his early days, minor league baseball, riding those 18-hour bus trips. I think he was in a league out like in Montana and Wyoming, where, gosh, when you look on the map and you see this town or that town, and you think, well, they're in the same state, but they might be 10 hours apart in Montana. It's just such a, it's kind of like Texas. It's just so massive that you don't get any feel of scale.
He has been all over the country. I mean, you talk not a wary traveler, but Phil definitely has had his travels, and it's been
and in those buses with
with
a bunch of young stinky guys. It's like, all right, you guys all need to take showers. Then okay, y'all finish that shower, now take another one. It's like whatever.
Yeah. Well, Clay, we got Clay with us the next 2 hours, and your calls and texts. Maybe you gonna make it with this with this throw. We'll see. I'm with you, man. You and me are kind of in that same boat. So excited that Clay is hopping on an hour early with us this morning, and was also excited to do our Pradco Pyramid of Power yesterday. The Yum Diener. That's what Bruce wanted me to tell you about. Now, he was at Broken Bow yesterday. You can go to Oklahoma. You can go to Arkansas. You can go to anywhere. And they make them by the truckload right here in Arkansas. They make them all over the United States. They send them all over the United States. Walmart, Bass Pro, Academy, LearnEd.com, and tackle stores all over the place. It's the Yum Dinger by Pradco. Morning Rush Daily Question next.
The Cal era is here.
Championship Under Construction is brought to you by Limbird Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to LimbIrdTeam.com. Limbird Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to LimbIrdTeam.com. Maverick Male Medical, your wellness and aesthetic center for men in Northwest Arkansas. Look better, live better, love better. Visit MaverickMaleMedical.com.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. You need the Limbird team, home of Arkansas's only instant offer program. Get a cash offer on your home in only 72 hours. Limbird Real Estate Group is the #1 team in Arkansas with over $1 billion sold and voted best of the best 10 years in a row, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and now the River Valley. Find out more at LimbIrdTeam.com. LIMBIRD.
Tommy Craft for the Fitzman. If you've always wanted powered automatic gates at your home or business, but you didn't know who to call, let me tell you about the Fitzman. 479-782-3936. The Fitzman does it all. Custom wrought iron installation, automatic gates, even controlled access systems, and lots more. Ask about 18-month, same as cash financing with approved credit. For your custom fence and gate needs, call the Fitzman. 479-782-3936. The Fitzman. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is the Morning Rush.
The nation is going to be talking about Arkansas.
Hi, folks. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where it's spring cleaning time. The lot is blooming with fresh road-ready certified inventory and weekly specials that could save you up to $4,000. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in the Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Better yet, trade today and save up to $4,000 during spring cleaning at Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Are you ready to indulge in an unforgettable fine dining experience? Then come join us at Uncorked, where every meal is a masterpiece, crafted with the finest ingredients to tantalize your taste buds. And with our extensive selection of cocktails, wine, craft beer, and bourbons, we've got something for everyone. So why not take a break from the ordinary and join us on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodi's? Come savor the moment with us at Uncorked, where every visit is a celebration.
The paint store in Van Buren is still the place to go to when doing the job right really matters. Our unique line of Richards paint products was chosen by me to perform for you. This is Sue, and my 35 years of experience ensures you get the right paint and the right color. That's important to you and me. Thank you for your support. Come see what I'm talking about. 1414 Fayetteville Road, The Paint Store, Van Buren.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Billy, can I ask you a question?
You just did.
Seriously, we are getting a lot of positive comments about you. What's your secret?
Oh, I just follow the 4 W's.
4 W's? Aren't there 5?
5?
Yeah. What, where, when, why, and who?
Wes, who starts with an H?
That's how.
I don't know how. It just does.
No, who starts with a W?
You sure?
Positive.
Anywho, my 4 W's are, what would Wes want? I picture every customer like there's you asking for something. What you want is what they want. What would Wes want? WWWW. 4 W's makes 8 U's.
Huh?
Treat customers like you, and it doubles to people. Pretty simple the way I see it.
4 W's. What would Wes want? Billy, you're brilliant.
Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote. Get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYS.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. And Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess. I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
All right, let's get into our Morning Rush Daily Question presented by Red River Dodge. On this day, back in 2004, 20 years ago, Ole Miss quarterback Eli Manning was first picked by the San Diego Chargers. Sounded like behind the scenes that they didn't want to play there. Him and Rivers get flipped around. He ends up a New York Giant, wins 2 Super Bowls, and now we're in Omaha Productions with him. But what is your favorite NFL Draft Day story? It's tomorrow night. We'll have coverage for you on some of these stations tomorrow night, Friday, Saturday. So if you want to listen, you can do so, especially up in Northwest Arkansas on ESPN 99.5. Clay, there are some awesome Razorback stories that happened on draft day. And then, I know that wasn't draft day, but the sad story of Brandon Burlsworth that happened after the fact. I'm, as a Green Bay Packer fan, the getting Aaron Rodgers part was pretty cool. There's plenty of other Razorback stories. D-Mac being drafted 4th overall, Dan Hampton being drafted 4th overall. Darren McFadden is one of my favorite players ever. So like that, our colleague Matt Jones, him being drafted as a wide receiver and him having a solid career in the National Football League. A lot of good stories. Is there one that is your favorite Hog or non-Hog related?
I've got 2. And one, I was too young to really know about it, or I probably heard about it, but it didn't soak in. You don't remember stuff when you're 5 years old. But when Lance Allworth was drafted, he was drafted by 2 leagues. And Al Davis went and signed him on the Sugar Bowl 50-yard line. As soon as the game was over, he played in the Sugar Bowl for the Razorbacks. And Al Davis, they had already had the draft. The NFL draft was coming later. The AFL draft had taken place. And that was what they did so they could pick, a lot of players they didn't, even though the AFL would draft you, they didn't sign. But Al Davis walked up to him on the field, still had his uniform on, and signed him. And the rest is history. Later, got to play for the Cowboys, and he's in the NFL Hall of Fame. Then the other one was Jason Peters' story on draft day. He reserved a suite in a Little Rock hotel to watch the draft. Brought in a lot of friends and family, spent a little money, and then wasn't drafted. And he ended up signed, I guess, with the Eagles, right? Signed a free agent contract for a $5,000 signing bonus. I'm not sure that covered his suite, but eventually it all worked out for him. He's going to. He went into the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame this past week, I think. Didn't they go ahead and induct him, although he's still playing?
Yeah, and him and Matt, one of Matt's other teammates.
Yeah, Ryan Mallett also was inducted. Sad, sweet day for his family. But yeah, there's a lot of great stories. The draft is unbelievable, and sometimes not getting drafted is a blessing, because then you can sign with the team of your choice. Sometimes you have several options, and you can pick where maybe there's a little roster wiggle room there. Like you're a linebacker and they're short of linebackers, or they need they're really looking for a special teams player, and but yeah, it's all, to me, the luck of the draw, who you go to or whatever. I did a story for Hogs Illustrated on Where Are They Now on Richard Lafargue, and he was telling me about his draft day experience and, getting drafted by Dick Vermeil. He was a rookie coach with the Eagles.
Oh, wow.
He didn't make the team. Then he got a free agent contract, I think, with New England. And they were about to cut him, but the coach from New England was going to Denver, offensive line coach, and really liked him. And he had changed teams in the summer and wanted him to go. But he and Jane were in the process of getting married, and he just decided that was enough, And then there's another really great story. Jodine Davenport was drafted by, I think it's San Francisco, and he didn't want to play in the NFL, and had some concussions, his knees and shoulders. I mean, it was just like, what those guys go through in college. He's basically a lineman, tight end, blocking in for Danny Ford. They didn't throw many passes to him. One year, they might have only thrown, less than 10. So he was a little bit of a hidden gem, really good blocker, but had great hands. And 49ers drafted him, and he hadn't signed yet. And they asked him to come out to a mini camp. And so he did. He got out there, and they said, we need to see your birth certificate. We've got to check some things and need your Social Security card. We pay you, a signing bonus, and you're actually working 3 days, so we're going to pay you for that too. And he decided that, first of all, he didn't have his truck with him, and he didn't like San Francisco. There weren't any hay fields, there weren't any cows, there weren't any chicken farms like in Tawnytown. And he told him he didn't think he was going to, he wasn't going to come. And came home, and they called him, and they said, hey, we still need to pay you for, coming out here and doing the mini camp. He said, listen, I'm not going to play for y'all, so y'all just keep that money. I mean, who turns down their money? And then
evidently Jodine Davenport.
Yeah, but then, like 3 or 4 months later, his dad says, you need to rethink this. And the coach that had been at San Francisco was then at the Indianapolis Colts the year later, and called Jodine and said, you really had made the team. You were going to be, our backup tight end. The other thing that was funny, he said the first practice rep he got with the 49ers, they weren't going against the defense. They were just running plays against air.
Mm-hmm.
And he lined up at tight end, and on one side of him was Terrell Owens. On the other side of him was Jerry Rice.
Now that is a wide receiver duo right there.
Yeah, just to be and he says they're running down the field, and he's running as hard as he can. Terrell Owens is, hey, they're not going to throw us the ball. Ease up, dude. So just, it's basically just, just a jogging drill. And Jodine's running as fast as he can, which is what he had to do to keep up with Jerry Rice and Terrell Owens when they're jogging. But his dad convinced him to go, play in the NFL for, I guess, 3 seasons. And that money bought him his, he's got a big farm out at Cincinnati, which is, right on the Oklahoma border south of Siloam Springs. So he came to his senses, let's put it that way. But he turned down a chance to play for the 49ers.
Well, that's why we love you, Clay, because there's 2 or 3 stories you just kind of wrinkled in that I had never heard before, especially the Jodine Davenport one.
Well, they might be before you were born, so we'll give you a break on that.
I appreciate it. That is your Morning Rush Daily Question presented by our friends at Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com. Jimmy Conway has been patiently waiting. He's got a question for Clay and myself about NIL. Jimmy, what's up, man?
Hey, guys. This NIL transfer portal, why don't we just call it what it really is? It's free agency. I want Clay's opinion on that. And let me ask you this. Baseball has always been limited on scholarships that they could have. What's in today's age, what's to keep them from saying, you're going to play baseball here, we're not going to put you on scholarship, you're going to get this much money in NIL, and the kid go ahead and come anyway. So why should scholarships even matter in baseball anymore? Just questions there. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, first of all, that's correct on the free agent thing, and it's a money grab. And then let's switch to baseball. And there's probably a misconception that all those guys have big NIL deals. There's a few NIL deals in baseball, and there's 11.7 scholarships that are split up about 20 ways.
Mm-hmm.
But there's 35 guys on the road, maybe 37. They can redshirt a couple. And a lot of those guys are just true walk-ons. They're not, not every player in baseball has an NIL deal unless that's changed in the last 6 months. But I know last year that was the case. There were some guys, and man, it's a hodgepodge of how they do it. Some of them, if you came from a poor background, you can probably get a Pell Grant. Well, that's not many of these guys, in baseball. But then there's academic scholarships. For instance, James McCann, here he is. He's going to be a big leaguer. Everybody knows he's going to be drafted, in one of the first 2 rounds, and he was. But he was never on baseball scholarship. He was on, but he probably made money in college because he was on a chancellor scholarship. That guy, I think he made 1B his whole life. I think he told me it was in finite math. And 1B. Did you ever have finite math?
Funny enough, I got a B in that class. That was
hard class, right?
Man, that.
It doesn't make any sense. It's not like regular math. It's kind of like an engineering type deal. It's like
horrible.
You got to know they give you the answer and you got to figure out the question. I'm making that up, but it's like that, right?
No, that is legitimately, that takes me back to the hell that was finite math freshman year. That's exactly.
Yeah. And they might have a Russian grad assistant teaching it that you can't talk to.
Yeah.
You can talk to them. They can't understand you. You can't understand them. They're doing research stuff, working on their graduate, trying to get a master's, and they don't really care what you're doing in finite math. And you got to have it's on a lot of degree lists that you have to have the finite math. That didn't exist back in my day.
Yeah.
So
it was not fun. Be glad that you avoided it. But on the
but he made a B. That's his only B.
Yeah. So real quick, and since we're on the subject of baseball, we might as well talk about what happened in North Little Rock yesterday. Yeah. I do agree that NIL has become free agency, and he mentioned the 11.7, which is still what it is. Clay, but before we again jump more into baseball, what did you think about the D1 Council ratifying unlimited transfers that came down officially this week?
Yeah, you kind of knew that was coming. Everything is what they say, less is more. That's there's no restrictions. If there is a restriction, they're going to eliminate them, and they're just going to keep watering it down until there aren't any rules. It's just whatever. I think at some point the top 2 or 3 conferences, and that's all there'll be, is the top 2 or 3. You'll have the SEC. I think the ACC is going to melt away eventually.
I agree.
I think you'll have the Big 12, the SEC, and the Big 10. They'll get together and they'll decide some rules, and they'll have some kind of restrictions, and there'll be employees, and they'll have a union, and they'll be okay with the National Labor Board, and they're going to withhold taxes and all that kind of stuff, and they'll probably set salary cap just like the NFL. That's what it's going to have to be. Otherwise, we're going to get tired of it. When I'm talking about fans, we're going to say, no, we don't really care to watch this stuff. It's like and I'll be honest, when I went to watch the 2 scrimmages, if I didn't have a roster, I had no chance.
It's hard.
Yeah. So of the quarterbacks, I knew that Jacoby Criswell, who's actually gone now, was number 6. But I didn't know the numbers of any of the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, you think about Taylor Green, Malachi really hasn't gotten a lot of run here.
I didn't remember his number. Yeah.
And then KJ Jackson, the
And
unfreshman.
then Austin Ledbetter. I mean,
Mhm.
I had to. So okay, I knew Austin was on the team, but I didn't know what his number was. So I had to figure out all of that. And then I had to learn the two offensive tackles because that's what I was there to. And I'm still not sure which one is which because one's 54 and one's 55, and they're exact same size. They both play tackle, and I can't tell you, Fernando Carmona and Keyshawn Blackstock. I mean, one's 54 and one's 55, and I'm not sure which one's which. I know they're both good, and I know Patrick Kudus is 75 and he's at left guard, and I can go through some other numbers, but it's like, man, every time it seemed like I remember Jalen Braxton is 11.
Yeah.
Brad Spence is 22, but gosh, I mean, in the past, when I watched a scrimmage and I had a roster, I knew at least half of them. Maybe 2/3 to 3/4, and then there's been some years where I knew them all because there weren't any freshmen out there. The midterm freshmen hadn't, so it was all players back from the previous year, no transfers. You might have a junior college player here or there, one or two, but you're watching the same guys that say you watched at bowl practice, and I knew every single player.
Mm-hmm.
This time I only knew. Like I say, I only knew 5 or 6 numbers on the whole team.
Yeah. And I think a lot of Arkansas fans will feel that exact same way. Well, you started to get to know some of these baseball guys, including Vahibo Loy, who once again had an outstanding game, nearly hitting 300.
1-1 on Aloy. Here's the pitch. The half swing, a flare in right field. Here comes Williams. It drops in. Base hit, scores Lovich, scores Helfrich, and it's 7-1. That is the epitome of an excuse me base hit by Baheba Aloy. Everything's falling in for him.
Love that from Phil. Now, this is a guy that struggled initially. Again, played.
He's swinging everything.
Yeah. Hawaii, Sacramento State, adjusting to some of the play that, or not just the weather, but also the
atmosphere, just everything.
Yeah, the caliber of play went up. And here was him last night in North Little Rock at Dickie Stevens, just kind of how he's gotten better.
We're progressively getting better as a team. We had a lot of hits, but it's just at the wrong time. We just got to keep on going and just hit balls hard.
Not just him personally, but the team overall. And they struggled to finish off South Carolina at times in this past week. And still won 2 or 3. Like you still take a lot of pride in that. It's an SEC road series. You get to the top 25, but Clay, here was a guy that, again, was hitting the low 200s. His batting average is now 294. And, I mean, it's 1-1 yesterday in the bottom of the 5th. Then he kind of breaks it open. And people are wondering.
He crushed it.
Yeah. People are wondering, why is this guy in the lineup? Well, you're seeing why Dave Van Horn trusted him to be your starting shortstop this year.
Yeah, he's an elite talent. I mean, he's got a short swing. It's flat. I mean, he's going to hit the ball. And you heard what he said there. The go, just hit it hard. Yeah, everybody thinks they're up there swinging for home runs. No, hit it hard, accept what happens. They've had some situations this year where they had runners on base and they've hit a line drive. Now, they've struck out some too, but their strikeouts, aren't very high this year. The other team's strikeouts are high, but they've put it in play, but it's just gone right at somebody or, just hadn't fallen. And now you're starting to see gradually some of these flares or whatever that, they're falling in. Yeah. Hudson White, I mean, he's hit some rockets right at the third baseman, 4 or 5 in key situations. Well, he had one, that he's starting to have a couple that, slip by the third baseman. And it just, I think that this offense will be fine. They're doing some things, and remember I said offense. I didn't say they're hitters because offense is drawing walks, moving runners, sacrifice flies, bunts. None of those figure into your batting average. Actually, sacrifice flies, and if you're just moving a runner to third, it's actually just an out. It doesn't count as a sacrifice. If you score them, that counts as nothing on your batting average. A sack bunt doesn't count on anything. It counts as nothing, just not an at bat. But those are big plays, And more you see Dave late in games, he's using those kind of plays to manufacture runs. It's actually, to me, fun to watch. And then you got a pitching staff that doesn't give up more than 5 runs. I mean, they just don't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you just go down the list on, 41 games now, and they haven't ever given up double digits. Well, that's unheard of in college baseball, especially with midweek games. Well, the depth of their pitching, their midweek guys are really good.
10-0. That's what they are in midweek games.
Yeah.
10-0 on the season, 25 straight in Baum-Walker Stadium as they welcome in the Florida Gators this weekend, trying to continue on that streak. Now, personally, I want to see him play Tennessee in Hoover, Clay. It's the unstoppable force of those Tennessee bats versus the immovable object that is Arkansas's pitching staff. One team is just hitting out of this world. Another team is pitching out of this world. You look at the batting statistics versus the pitching statistics. Tennessee's got all the batting ones up top in the SEC. Arkansas's got it the pitching. You're not seeing them in the regular season. Not that you're not excited about going to Lexington, see what you're made of down there, what you're made of in College Station, which could potentially side the SEC West. But if there's one game or one potential matchup I'm hoping happens, it's Arkansas-Tennessee coming up in Hoover.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. And I always like pitching over hitting. I mean, good pitching usually comes out on top. I mean, you see in postseason play, at the major league level, that's usually how it works out. You've got a Justin Verlander. Same thing, you got a Hagen Smith. And, if you play Tennessee with all your guys, you're rested, and I like their Arkansas's chances with Hagen Smith against that lineup. And I mean, Oregon State has been bashing. You saw what they did against Hagen Smith. I mean, 17 strikeouts out of 18, and you get in that situation, Hagen's probably they're going to leave him out there for 8 innings. As we get into postseason play, they're going to stretch him on out, but they're saving innings right now. I think every game I've seen him, Dave has pulled him 1 or 2 innings early.
100%.
Yeah, and it's like, man, I can remember with Blaine Knight. He's like, Coach, I'm not on empty. He's like, let me ease him, man. We need you in May and June. This is not.
And Dave referred to that a couple times early, Clay. Like he's like, yeah, he could have stayed out there another inning or two. And he could have stayed out there another batter or two. So he knows. Like not that the regular season's important, because you want a national seed, you want to play in Baum-Walker Stadium in the regional and hopefully the super, but
he's going to have that.
Yeah,
looks like it. Yeah.
So this I think that's probably the most important thing he said all show.
And he's getting some work for some of these young studs.
Yep.
I mean,
Gackles look really good.
Yeah, and Dawson and Fouch. I mean, it's like, man, one of them, I can't remember which one. He threw 101 the other night. And he's got an unhittable pitch.
I think it was Dawson, the Harbor kid. So it is cool. It is.
Fouch is terrific. He's developed a pitch that he's going to be able to pitch for a long time. I mean, he's throwing 96, 97. And then you got the old steady Eddie, Will McIntyre. Every once in a while, his cutter doesn't move and they hit it. But they keep putting him out there because they want to get him some work. And it seems like he's the more he pitches, the better he is. So they've got a lot of options. And then, Ben Bobby last night, I like what he did. Parker Coyle. I mean, it just like, man, this is the depth of this staff. I've never seen anything like it, Ty.
It's pretty special. Tell you what, I've never seen anything like the trout fishing at Gaston's White River Resort. Clay was telling you earlier in the week on Ruskin and Zach, it's like Jack Nicholson go there. So if you want a great time, go to Gaston's White River Resort at gastons.com. Check out Clint and their team.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the #1 source for all your sports betting this season and every season. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends all at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. The fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite leagues and events. Go to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure you use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. Bet online, where the game starts.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the #1 source for all your sports betting this season and every season. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends all at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. The fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite leagues and events. Go to BetOnline.
Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
Oh, John Calipari is going to serve as the president of the National Association of Basketball Coaches. They're, again, board of directors for the 24-25 season. Clay, it's got over 5,000 different basketball coaches from different levels. He's been on the board of directors since 2013, been the vice president since last season. Now he's been elevated to the president.
Yeah, highly respected by his peers, and that's that's what you get when you're elected that position. I mean, or that's the reason. And he, he'll have an impact in the way the game's played. And it's my opinion of John Calipari has changed dramatically since I've gotten to know him. Would you say that there's probably a lot of people that are feeling that way?
Oh, I hated it with him in the Fire of 1,000 Suns. Prior to him arriving in Arkansas.
But as soon as he became, he's like he was a villain. Now he's our villain, and But I think that other coaches respect him and know how he treats kids, and that was Nolan's take. It's like he cares about the kids, and that's what's most important. It's like, and he explained. You make decisions, and sometimes fans may not like the decision he makes, but he's making them, with the best interest of the kids.
I think about Clay, and tell me if this is right or wrong. So Tony Vitello doesn't have the same cachet, doesn't have a national championships, not a Hall of Famer yet, but Arkansas fans aren't exactly in his camp right now. But I do think whenever it does happen, if it does happen, I think that you'll see something similar that we're seeing with Cal with this baseball program if Vitello is named the next head coach.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that's going to happen because, first of all, I think Tony's really this is from everything I can tell from talking to him and from people in Tennessee. They're getting him what he wants there. Tennessee is a great place. I mean, it's not Arkansas, but we're Arkansans. So, but I think he's going to have what he needs to win at Tennessee. And then let's just talk about what he is as a person. So what we don't like is, when he gets in Dave Van Horn's face, or, they do things, to challenge an umpire and they're getting tossed. And, but when he was at Arkansas and he coached third base, I mean, he just erupted sometimes, on a ball strike call. And, your assistant coaches can't protest in any form. I mean, they're ejected. But he was willing to put himself out there, and the players love that. Their coach is going to bat for him. And when he was our guy, we liked it. But when he's at Tennessee, we think he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing in reverse. He was our guy. We liked him. I wrote about assistant coaches and mentioned Todd Butler in the column that's up at hitthatline.com. I can't spit it out. Sorry, my throat is just raw.
Same boat,
allergies.
Man. Same boat.
I had a chance to sit in his office sometimes an hour and a half, and we just talk baseball, and we go through, the hitters and the outfielders. He was a really good coach with outfield positioning and teaching that position. He's taught it all. He was a pitching coach at TCU, pitching coach at Missouri. Then he was a hitting coach at Arkansas. So all of that prepared him. And I don't think he's great at any of that. Now he's not a Wes Johnson or Matt Hobbs as far as pitching coach. He's not a Todd Butler or Nate Thompson is a hitting coach, but he's done all that. So he's comfortable working with those guys and, a good head coach is going to hire him good assistants, and he's done that. He's got Frank Anderson was a head coach at Oklahoma State, and he's got Josh Elander, that he knew from Arkansas doing his. But I cannot pull against Tony. I just can't, because I know him, and it's a different deal when you know these guys as people, and that's the relationships I have, and so I get what you say, but I also know Tony differently than you do. So it's not really fair for me to say you're wrong or I'm right.
Well, speaking of the Tennessee Volunteers, it sounds like Jonas Adu, former Tennessee Volunteer who entered the transfer portal, shifting gears to basketball, is going to be entering or has entered the transfer portal, is going to be making a visit to Arkansas along with Bogey Flan, who's going to be there today, which is interesting to see. And then also Billy Richmond, who's going to be there tonight. I think it's tonight when both those guys are getting here. Two former John Calipari Kentucky commits that Clay could wind up as Arkansas commits. And we'll see about Jonas Adu, too, who just ripped Arkansas up in Bud Walton last year.
Yeah, he ripped up a lot of people. I mean, he's a great player, and he's a veteran, cagey veteran. He's got the size and the length. He fits all the, look like the intangibles. He's a leader on the floor, but I mean, he's gonna hit his NIL mark and gonna go do so. Sometimes it's just they want to do something different. It's not. I'm sure the Tennessee's got a nice little NIL chunk for him, but it's like I just want to do something different, play with some different guys. Be part of something. From the building from the ground up, and I think all players that have played at Bud Walton know that's a fun place. So that's a plus. That's a great insurance policy for any head coach that ever comes to Arkansas. You got that in your hip pocket to tell people about, and it's we've had some of those marquee games on TV in the past year, and man, everybody's watching that, and those top end ESPN guys start bragging on that arena and that atmosphere. It doesn't hurt you. I think that they got a real shot at these guys. It's all kind of coming around what we thought. It's not going to all fall at the same time. Mm-hmm. They're going to recruit him one at a time. Everybody thought that he would just be the head coach, Coach Cal, and then the next day he would announce 13 signees. I mean, you can't to do it right. You need to spend all of your energy on one guy and bring him in and, do your thing. Like Coach Cal is a great recruiter. If you're in a room with him, you understand what kind of a recruiter he is, because he's you feel like he's your best friend after about 20 minutes. And he just is able to do that. So it's going to be fun to watch. And one guy will fall, and then another 3 days, another guy will fall, 5 days. It's going to keep going like that.
Keep on chugging like the big old rock in Indiana Jones. You just want that thing to keep on rolling along. That is your Hog Update this morning with our buddy Clay Henry. It's brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
All right, hour number 3 is coming up in just a bit. We're going to talk with Brandon Marcelo, 24/7 Sports, get some thoughts on what he saw with Arkansas football, and then also what's going on in the SEC. And then we'll come back, talk some more basketball and a little baseball. Andrew Benintendi had a clutch play last night for the Chicago White Sox, and we'll get to see Isaiah Joe and Jalen Williams back in action for the Thunder tonight. Hour 3 is next.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the #1 source for all your sports betting this season and every season. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends all at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. The fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite leagues and events. Go to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure you use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. Bet online, where the game starts.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the #1 source for all your sports betting this season and every season. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends all at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. The fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite leagues and events. Go to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure you use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. Bet online, where the game starts.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insights and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omaha.
And the Razorbacks pick up their 35th win of the season and are now all-time 6-0 against UAPB.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text The Morning Rush on the McClarty-Daniel hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
Yes, sir.
It is hour number 3 of the Morning Rush on a What's Your Beef Wednesday. Haven't heard Clay Henry's beef just yet. I think we kind of both share the throat issues and just the health issues right now. We're trying to get Nurse back to full health. Maybe that's a beef of both of ours, but we'll get more into our beefs a little later on. We're going to talk more Arkansas basketball, who John Calipari is supposedly hosting later on tonight. But for now, we're going to talk some Arkansas football because we hadn't done that a lot lately. And again, you've had Calipari news. You had #2 baseball team in the country. That's taken up the majority of our time. But Brandon Marcelo, 24/7 Sports national college football reporter, is going to join us. Excited to have him on. Before we get to him, I want to tell you about our friends at Hickey and Hull Law Partners. Kevin Hickey, Brad Hull, they are growing their firm by being in Central Arkansas and in Mena. You know what they provided to you in the River Valley and in Northwest Arkansas. Those same great services are now offered in our ESPN 96.3 listening area. And for all of you that listen in Central Arkansas, and hitthatline.com and our Hit That Line Now app. So you might have a divorce or a custody case, or you just need someone to help you through whatever process you're going through. They have over 7 decades of combined experience at the Hickey and Hull Law Partners, and they've seen it all. So if you need help with whatever situation and you want the best result, give Kevin Hickey and Brad Hull a call at 479-434-2414 or visit kevinhickeylaw.com. One more time, 479-434-2414 or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. To the McClarty-Daniel hotline we go, where Brandon Marcelo has been patiently waiting on us. Brandon, like kind of opened you with a lot of basketball, a lot of baseball talk. I want to talk some football with you. You got a chance to go one-on-one with the head hog in the offseason, Sam Pittman. What did you learn about this football team in your conversation with Coach Pittman?
You know, he was telling me that he's pretty happy with the roster he has and the way they've built it. He feels like they're better than they were last year. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to watch, of course, when they open the season with that. But I also took away from that conversation that, you know, this is before spring practice, but it was very clear then that Kalen Green was going to be the quarterback and he was going to be the starter. And how he tabbed Bobby Petrino as the OC. He said, hey, go find a quarterback. I don't care who. If it's someone, find someone you're comfortable with and you want. It wasn't, hey, let's have a quarterback competition. It was go find a quarterback and that'll be our starter. I think it was very clear that after last season with Dan Enos and that failed experiment that he needed to open things back up and get that offense to be exciting again. And
I think that Sam, in a lot of ways, had to reflect on things that went wrong last year and things that maybe he did wrong and things he needed to correct it or even revert to some old ways that were working previously. And, he said that he went through that process and he feels that this team is stronger and he's a better coach because of it. And we'll see, this upcoming fall. But Sam was very, very reflective with me. You don't see that very often with head coaches at big programs.
And Brandon, I would assume you're not a fan of micromanager bosses. Like, you want flexibility at your job at 24/7 Sports. And it sure seemed like, based on some Bobby Petrino comments in the offseason, that he had a micromanager boss in Jimbo Fisher that wouldn't let him take off the shackles or run his stuff. How different is that now in Fayetteville with the new head coach and kind of what he's trying to let Bobby Petrino do with the offense?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's almost like there's two head coaches in a lot of ways. Petrino's kind of handling his own thing with the offense and has been given free reign of that. In fact, the day I went to visit Sam Pittman in his office, he was just meeting with Bobby Petrino in his office, and he says he was picking his brain about some practice ideas, just as far as logistics and things they should be running even in the preseason. Very clear that the relationship there is, hey, Bobby, I brought you in to run this offense. That's what you're going to do. I'm not going to be trying to, mix things up and overrule you a lot. Though on game days that might happen. But when it comes to preparing your offense and everything like that, he's not going to step in the way.
Talking with Brandon Marcelo on the McCarty Daniel Hotline, national college football reporter at 24/7 Sports. Brandon, you broke the Snacks Johnson news, and I was kind of sad. I like Snacks. I mean, he had that play in the Texas A&M game. He seemed to really buy into Arkansas, and yet he's in the portal now. Did not get the start in the spring game. Danico Slaughter started over him in that nickel slot. Would you cite that as the main reason that he's maybe decided to look elsewhere?
That's my understanding, that he kind of lost that job and was in a position where, entering his, last year of playing college football, that, he wants to kind of be the guy. That wasn't necessarily going to be the case at Arkansas. I guess what, my question would be is that, even if you're not a starter at quarterback or somewhere in the secondary, you're going to still play quite a bit because of the rotation and everything. But, learning more about him, I didn't know him very well, but as you said, he's a guy that fans really loved. And I know back in January, he had said that, hey, I'm not going anywhere. I think from that standpoint, it made it a little bit surprising. But even back then, I think he probably couldn't quite predict what was going to happen over the next few months. And then bringing in Slaughter from the transfer portal himself, and then obviously losing his starting job after doing so well last season. So he's on the move. And I'll say this is happening all across college football. I'm sure you guys are seeing it. Guys entering the portal left and right that you weren't expecting, that are somewhat surprising. It's been happening every day since last Tuesday, and it'll continue to do so throughout the spring portal window. Because remember, there's still some teams out west that having concluded spring practices, and once they do here, they got another week or so to enter the portal, and there's going to be some players that enter the portal from those teams as well. That's the surprise.
Brandon, this is Clay Henry. I watched a couple of scrimmages, and I get fascinated with offensive line play. Kind of focus my attention on that, partly because, that seems to be, in the SEC, the teams that have good offensive line, their offense seem to click. Those that don't, they seem to struggle. And Arkansas was in that struggle category last year. I watched Blackstock and Carmona, the two tackles, 54 and 55. Are these guys SEC tackles?
I'll tell you what, Petrino's very happy with that offensive line. And I know Sam Pittman, even going into spring when I was talking to him, was talking a lot about how he thought they're going to be much better up front. The only issue, though, of course, is depth. You got to have some guys to rotate in, and plus injuries are going to happen. But, man, it certainly seemed like even back then before the spring that they were happy with those guys. And then once you saw kind of when these open practices, you mentioned Clay, and then even the spring game, which I got to watch just some of on TV, that offensive line looks quite a bit different. this year, obviously with the new pieces, but also just the development that they've had there. And I think with Petrino, you bring him in, and listen, he had some really good offensive lines previously in Arkansas a decade or so ago, but he also had one or two that were just about average, but he found ways to kind of get the ball out of the quarterback's hand a little bit faster, do some things to kind of cover up, quote unquote, any weaknesses. And I think that's what Arkansas was missing quite a bit last season. With Dan Enos, it was kind of just, it was what it was. Slow developing plays that weren't really conducive to a great offensive or a good offensive line looking better. I think Petrino is someone that's going to make things, those weak spots look and cover them up a little bit. But having said that, that offensive line looks so much better this year with the pieces they brought in. And I think that's a group, Clay, that I think is going to surprise some people who are outside of Arkansas and the SEC that were accustomed to seeing what happened last year. It's going to be a much improved unit.
Yeah. Someone asked me about, what's the difference between Petrino and Enos? I said, well, Petrino doesn't ever try to put a round peg into a square hole.
Yeah.
He just doesn't.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. I mean, even Pittman, I was talking to him and he was just like, we're getting rid of this 5-step drop stuff and doing all this stuff. But you can't do that with the offensive line we had last year. And, it's kind of crazy that they weren't able to kind of tweak that throughout the season. But that's just Dan Enos' offense. Didn't really want to move away from it.
We're talking with Brandon Marcelo this morning on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, college football reporter, 24/7 Sports. Brandon, you mentioned transfers, and I know they, again, ratified the NCAA Council, said unlimited transfers. You're good to go. But this cycle, you can't go interconference, right? Or am I wrong on that?
In the SEC, you cannot. After February 1st, you cannot move within the SEC.
Okay. I thought that was right. How does that maybe, like for Snacks, for example, there's other guys that have transferred. How does that maybe kind of change their opinions on when they need to transfer if they're still trying to wind up at an SEC school?
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. They got to figure that out right after the season. And that rule's been around a while, of course. And I think that, it makes it so much more difficult for these guys to kind of find spots elsewhere, because when we talk about, frankly, landing somewhere of equal power, of equal stature, you're pretty much just talking about the Big Ten or maybe one of the upper tier ACC schools. And let's face it, those schools already have their starters for the most part. They're not looking for a starter, in April or May at one of their big positions. And so a lot of these guys in the SEC end up leaving, and they don't end up landing somewhere of equal value. I think that, here's the thing. The advent of the portal, say what you want about it, good or bad or whatever, but, this gives the opportunity for these players to make bad decisions and learn from them. And that's part of what going to college and growing up and everything's all about, is making good and bad decisions and learning to live with them. Some of them make good decisions, some of them make bad decisions, but they're getting real life experience in all of this. And sadly, it's affecting some of the players incredibly negatively. I mean, you'd have to go back and look at the numbers, but there's so many kids that not only go to a lower level school, which some of them enter the portal knowing that, and they want to go play, but a lot of these kids end up not landing anywhere. And it's incredibly sad. And I think here in the next, probably 5 to 10 years, you're going to hear a lot of stories about guys that completely fell out of football and end up hurting their career prospects and everything. And it's going to be sad things. But again, we're in the early days of this, and it's life lessons that are really being taught. And, these kids need to surround themselves with good people to help them make these decisions.
All right, Brady, we got 2 more for you. And just keep this one in the back of your mind. As of this morning, the announcement was made. Reggie Bush is getting his Heisman Trophy back. So be kind of pondering what you think about that. But on the transfer portal, 2 lightning rods, Lane Kiffin, Deion Sanders. Kiffin loaded up this offseason. I mean, Ole Miss on paper looks like one of the best teams in college football. We'll see how it plays out. But Deion Sanders starting to lose some guys. I think 30+ in, 30+ out. I know we're shifting gears to a different conference, but How do you think it's going to work out for prime time in year 2?
I think in most of those spots they have upgraded. Actually, the problem is that you're bringing in so many new pieces once again that you're starting over, and you have to bring all these guys together and get them to gel and play together as a team. That's the great experiment, right? That we're trying to watch. First half of last season, it actually kind of worked despite a really terrible offensive line. I'm not just saying terrible; it was the worst offensive line in the country in the FBS. But somehow they were able to move the ball still. But they just lost Sean Lewis, their offensive coordinator. In fact, he kind of demoted him in the middle of the season when they were doing so well. And the offense slowed. And now he's the head coach of San Diego State. It's not just the transfer portal. He made a lot of changes on that staff. Some falling out there as well among some of the staff members with Dion. It's just the reason why this is so fascinating is because I don't think there's any quite a way for us to predict what's going to happen because we've never seen anything like this in college football. But I will say this, that offensive line should be better because on paper they got better offensive linemen in than the ones that came out. They've got really good running backs coming in as well. But again, it's all new and you can get all the talent you want, but when they're in a room together for the first time in May, and it's only a few months before you start preseason camp, man, that's a lot of things that kind of get in line to get them to gel together, not only in a new system, but with new surroundings, new school and everything. In a lot of ways, it's like trying to put a freshman team together when they all get on campus for the first time.
It's not easy. All right, last thing you just heard and you're reacting to it real time. Reggie Bush apparently getting his Heisman Trophy back. What do you think about that, Brandon? We'll let you go.
That's crazy. I actually talked to him in Las Vegas back in December about this, about his lawsuit and all that stuff. And, he's had a lot of people within the Heisman family that have really spoken out for him, both behind the scenes and publicly. And with the NCAA rules changing so much and everything that goes with that, I thought it was probably just a matter of time before he got serious consideration. But, man, for it to be happening right now at this moment, that's crazy for it to happen this quickly. Again, it's a new age. If you, quote, unquote, did something wrong in the past that's now legal in the NCAA size, apparently you can get your stuff back. But, good for him. I mean, he was by far one of the best players I've ever seen in person. And that's amazing. I'm interested to see kind of what the reaction is among the Heisman Trust and the Heisman family.
According to ESPN's Pete Thamel, the formal reinstatement of the trophy is going to come out today. So we'll have some more stuff on that on halftime and Ruskin and Zach. Brandon, we really appreciate your time. Again, college football reporter for 24/7 Sports in our own backyard here in Northwest Arkansas. He is Brandon Marcelo. Brandon, we'll catch you up at SEC Media Days coming up in July. Looking forward to being in Dallas, Texas with you, man.
Yeah, can't wait. Thanks, guys.
All right. Again, good stuff from Brandon. Clay, your turn. Reggie Bush getting his Heisman back. What do you think?
So I think I could be wrong on this, but if you could say, let's sit down with all the Heisman Trophy winners and one by one ask them if they ever got anything illegal. There would not be one lily white guy in the room. They would all say, well, I got this. I got that. Now, Reggie might have got more, but it's kind of, being a little bit two-faced to say you can't have the Heisman, but Billy Sims, you get to keep yours. And to think that Oklahoma never did anything to help Billy Sims, I just know better. Mm-hmm. So, it's like, well, none of us got caught. Well, yeah, that's the difference. Reggie got caught. So I really think that what they're doing is probably, were they thinking about what's going to happen, when, a judge sits down and realizes, all these other guys probably got something too, and we're not gonna penalize Reggie. So let's just beat the sheriff to the door. So it's okay. I got no problem with
I think that's the how you from the jump framed it, I think is the proper way to look at it. Because if we're being honest, you're probably right. We'll react more to that. We got some more basketball and football and baseball stuff to get to here. Arkansas wins Run Rules UAPB in North Little Rock yesterday. Here's some more from Dave Van Horn. I want to tell you about our friends at Wheels RV. I want to tell you about Chris. I want to tell you about Lee J. And I want to tell you about the Model Z, the Brinkley Model Z. It's the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And they have now Brinkley, in addition to their Grand Design and Forest River products. You're always going to get that lifetime warranty with every new RV. So that means when you go camping across the natural state, you're going to camp with confidence. Stop in and see why Wheels RV is the best dealer year after year. 5 miles west off exit 72 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. All right, NBA wise, had a couple Razorbacks in action last night. Bobby Portis, Patrick Beverley, and the Milwaukee Bucks end up falling to the Indiana Pacers. That series is tied 1-1. Daniel Gafford of the Dallas Mavericks are now tied with the Los Angeles Clippers. They even up that series 1-1. And then the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Phoenix Suns battled last night. Timberwolves won that. They're up 2-0 in the series. Clay, it's a little late for me, but 8:30, my television's going to TNT to watch Jalen and Isaiah for the Thunder tonight.
And I think it's great function on my TV. You just punch a little button and it says record. And then I wake up about 6 to 8. Well, you're doing radio and 6 in the morning, but maybe about 9:15. I mean, the beauty of that is that no commercials and all the time out. You can just kind of roll through them. So yeah, it's and I do that occasionally, but I'm early to bed, early to rise.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Also, you had an announcement, which is good. On the baseball side of things for Pro Hogs, Heston Kjerstad added back to the Baltimore Orioles. He started in right field last night. We were talking about James McCann earlier. A teammate now is Heston Kjerstad. So awesome to see Heston back in, and we'll tell you about some Andrew Benintendi stuff coming up too. Clay Henry along with us the next 40 minutes or so on a What's Your Beef Wednesday. We still got to unlock our beefs this morning.
The Cal era is here. Championship Under Construction is brought to you by Limbird Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to LimbirdTeam.com. Limbird Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to LimbirdTeam.com. Maverick Male Medical, your wellness and aesthetic center for men in Northwest Arkansas. Look better, live better, love better. Visit MaverickMaleMedical.com.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the #1 source for all your sports betting this season and every season. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends all at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. The fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite leagues and events. Go to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure you use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. Bet online, where the game starts.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936.
Here's the pitch. Swing and a high drive right field by Souza. This one's a winner potentially. Harrelson from right field underneath it. Caught. Here's Sprague-Lott coming home. The throw. Hogs win it. This one belongs to the Razorbacks. 9-8.
All your favorite podcasts in one place. The Hit That Line Podcast Network. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
To me, John Calipari feels like the star quarterback that transferred schools and is asking all the hot girls out. and they're saying yes, or they're at least considering him. He's going from one school to another. He had success at UMass, had success in Memphis, had success at Kentucky. There's no reason to believe that he can't have success here in Fayetteville, building a roster that could get you to a national championship. And our championship under construction is brought to you by our friends at Lindbergh Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley for all your real estate needs. Go to lindberghteam.com and by Maverick Male Medical, your wellness and aesthetic center for men in NWA, Northwest Arkansas. Look better, live better, love better. Visit maverickmalemedical.com. If you have not heard, want to update you who reportedly is going to be in town today or tonight for the Arkansas Razorbacks. That would be Bogey Flan. I need to correct myself. Richard explained his name properly earlier this morning. Bogey Flan and Billy Richmond, two former Kentucky commits that can now wind up as Arkansas Razorbacks. And Clay, it also sounds like Jonas Adu, a former Tennessee Volunteer, could be making a visit as well.
Yeah, it's really fascinating to watch, and we're going to see if Coach Cal does it a little differently than in the past. And we heard at the press conference that that he didn't really blend a lot of transfers. The portal is it's newer than we think. It's a 2-year-old happening or whatever. You had graduate transfers, but he basically built his roster with true freshmen. Not a whole lot of transfers, but he realizes that he's been in the NCAA tournaments playing against 25 and 26-year-olds. That what's happened in the game is that if you have any kind of blip in your 4-year career, and even if you've redshirted and it's a 5-year career, and if there's any kind of a coach changed or something, you can apply for a waiver, and the NCAA says yes. So you got 24, 25, even sometimes, when guys have gone on 2-year Mormon trips, you got 26-year-olds that are available in the portal. So you can blend. And those older guys, it's kind of like an offensive lineman. They're all right when they're 18, 19, but when they're 21 and 22, they're grown men.
Ooh, yeah.
And they're just different beasts. And the same thing, a guy like Joseph Adu, he's a beast. He's a grown man. And you can bring in a great young center, and Joseph Adu is going to have his way with him. I mean, he's going to throw him around. He's going to teach him some things in the game, and you're not going to like watching it if he's on their team and, you got the young buck on yours, even though he's going to be a great player and he might be a lottery pick, but he's just not. There aren't very many Anthony Davis that can, or Carmelo Anthony's that can just take you to the promised land as a true freshman. They're gonna learn.
And even those guys had like Jerry McNamara, and then for Kentucky had Darius Miller too.
Sure. So we're gonna watch Coach Cal and see how he builds his roster, and it might be different next year than it is this year. I mean, he's going to have to take some portal guys, I think, and certainly the Croatian is a portal guy. I mean, that's how he transferred from Kentucky. So yeah, we're going to see him build a little bit. And I was really excited to see the old gang get back together. Kenny Payne is on his staff, because that is a recruiting phenom. I mean, he's the real deal. I mean, there's guys that have that talent, going in homes and making those mamas and grandmas feel comfortable. And he's got that. Didn't go well as a head coach at Louisville, but there's a lot of guys that, maybe they're just born to be your lead assistant. And to get him with Coach Cal, I think was a great get.
Yeah, I'm excited to see who he could help bring in, or help, as you were talking about, mentor, not just as a veteran player, but a guy that as a coach and has that background, especially with big men.
Coach Cal.
Yeah, with Coach Cal specifically, who all of his Final Four and national championship appearances were with Kenny Payne on his staff. All right, Tom in Fort Smith has joined us on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. Tom has a beef with the SEC website. Tom, I'm right there with you. The update, it's terrible. I hate it, man.
Yeah.
my dad had surgery yesterday, and I forgot all about the game, and I went to bed, and I woke up, and I thought, Arkansas played tonight. I think I'm gonna go check that score. And when I looked at that, I was like, they beat us 11-1. What happened? It was really. I was so upset, man. I was. And then I looked over on Facebook, and then I saw that we beat them 11-1, and I thought, oh, I was relieved. I don't know. I don't know who wrote it, who did that, but it's crazy.
Yeah, you have to, you got to pick a better website. You got to go to hitthatline.com or ArkansasRazorbacks.com.
Where Clay's new column is up about the baseball team, and he's got some quotes from Todd, or he's got some stuff from Todd Butler in there, which is really good. Former Razorback assistant, now Oklahoma recruiting coordinator. I ended up reading that this morning. And Clay, we don't have too much longer here, but real quick, I know the headline of your article, you don't always pick these headlines, and I don't think you picked this one, but your headline kind of caught some people off guard. I know you've got on to me before for using the word worry.
You asked me what fans should worry about, or should they be worried about this?
So tell me about this headline that fans don't need to worry about the offense.
Yeah, so a lot of times when I write a column, I'll put a suggested headline in it. They don't have to. The key word is suggested. And somebody might find a better headline than that, and I'm fine with it. But sometimes it speeds up the process. The guy that edits the story, which was Andy Hodges, and man, I love it. I love Andy, and I'm glad to have somebody read my stuff and make sure that, because I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to get names wrong or have wrong first names. My dad was famous for that. I think Andy caught one of those that my dad did one time. Probably did. I think it was Bobby Duckworth that he always got the first name wrong. Andy'd fix it back in the day. But he picked the headline that says, Arkansas fans don't need to worry now about the offense. And I don't ever want to tell fans what to worry about or what not to worry about, because, they got their own problems. I don't really want to add to them. So I just don't ever, say that. But I thought you'd get a kick out of that, Ty.
I did.
But that was Andy's headline, and it's just fine. I don't care.
I did get a kick out of that, as I do. There's some good stuff in there. If you haven't read it, it is on the front page of hitthatline.com. Clay always does a great job with his pieces and his columns, or I say pieces, his columns. We know that. Tell you who else does a great job, and that's the people of APAC Arcola. If you're looking for a job, then that's the spot to do it. They've got openings in the Boone, Marion, and Baxter County areas. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, concrete finisher, diesel mechanic, or if you have paving or concrete labor apply today at jobs.crh.com. They offer top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits, insurance, retirement, profit sharing, and more. Apply online, jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola is an equal opportunity employer, and your SEC update is next.
Streaming live from...
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the #1 source for all your sports betting this season and every season. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends all at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. The fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite leagues and events. Go to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure you use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. Bet online, where the game starts.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line podcast network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor A from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the #1 source for all.
It just means more.
I know one thing, the SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Burton Pools and Spas. Trusted pool experts and your source for backyard fun. Locations in Fort Smith, Springdale, and always online at burtonpools.com.
So it's nice to have a game back in Baum-Walker Stadium, or games for that matter, this weekend. I know Dave Van Horn is happy to have his team back as they win in North Little Rock yesterday. Feels like that they've been playing on the road a lot lately. Here's your head skipper.
It seems like we've been on the road for 2 weeks straight. We've just played a lot of games, but it's been good for our team to travel and play and win, and it's nice playing in this environment. It's amazing.
They've won a lot in Baum-Walker Stadium so far this season. 25 straight games, trying to make it 28 after the Florida Gators coming to town this weekend. Watch the weather. We'll keep you updated right here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. But one of the keys to beating these guys is you got to swing the bats at the right time.
Sometimes when it starts to flow, it flows, and we're going to have to swing the bats against Florida this weekend if we want to win that series.
Clay, I thought what was interesting about your column is we've become so enamored. We've become so fascinated with home runs and batting average. And you used a common phrase, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And that's what Dave Van Horn has done a lot of times in his tenure at Arkansas when it comes to the plate approach.
Yeah, one thing he mentioned this at Swatters Club, that he's given the take sign more this year than at any time in his career. And, there's a reason why you give the take sign. Sometimes it's to run the pitch count up, and other time is to try to work a walk. Sometimes it's to let your batter see a pitch or two. I mean, it's like sometimes they're a little better. And then you start to give them freedom when you see that they're starting to get confident with the strike zone. But walks are a big part of the game in college baseball, and it's I think that's Dave's gift in being able to manage a game. And I've talked to some major league front office people, general managers, and assistants to the presidents, all those kind of guys. They've come in and fished with me, and man, they have such respect for Dave. And that his staff, sometimes they get criticized. And baseball is a game where fans can second guess, but it's this is a guy that is really, really good. And sometimes we don't realize how good he is. Those from the outside looking in, when they tell me how much respect and what they see, and, he's had great assistants. I mean, I don't know, if you get lucky or that's just his knack of hiring people. When you look down that list of assistant coaches,
Butler, Vitello,
Hobbs,
Johnson.
Wes Johnson. Yeah. Matt Diggs was here right at the start. Didn't get to know Matt very well. But it's these guys Dave's comfortable with them doing interviews. And I've talked to these guys. I've learned a lot of baseball. But it's, now he's got Bobby Wernis, as a full-time assistant, and he's really, really good. And we'll get to see him go on the road and recruit for the first time. And I bet he's a dynamite recruiter because he's got, elite personality. But yeah, baseball's one of the most fun things that I've been able to cover. And it was one of the things that I did growing up, played a lot of baseball, was around. It was a bat boy with the Travelers, started to kind of get a feel for what baseball was all about. I would encourage anybody that's trying to figure out baseball that maybe doesn't quite understand it, get Michael Lewis's book, Moneyball. And, things have changed a little bit since 2003 when he wrote it, but it's a fascinating read, and it kind of gives you an insight of why, maybe Dave Van Horn does some things, because offense is scoring runs, and what you do to score runs, sometimes it's not about batting average. Limiting strikeouts. Arkansas's pitching staff does not walk batters, yet they have a lot of strikeouts. And usually, if you're throwing swing and miss pitches, you're also throwing balls, and they just don't do that. So enjoy this baseball team, because I think they're really good.
Other news in your SEC update. This was an excerpt from Trev Alberts, the athletics director from A&M. Clay, I don't know if you saw this, but they have laid off some members within their athletics department as they're preparing for revenue sharing within college sports, which is coming. There were several individuals, and basically the whole idea of this is to just try and prepare. If you had to, if I say 5 years, we're going to see revenue sharing in college sports, is that too long or is that too short a time?
Well, I don't think we know, but it's coming. The way it's going to have to be couched is to pay players, and so to do that, you're gonna man, it wasn't too long ago when Coach Broyles had, I think, 10 people in his administration. 10. It seems like there's 100 now. I mean, I go down the list, and it's gonna be a different model, and I think everybody understands that. It's not just Trev Alberts, but if you want to understand his thoughts, I think you can go to 247 and you can come up with the complete transcript of his hiring at Texas A&M. He went from Nebraska, and he talks about his days at Nebraska Omaha, where he spent some time with top business leaders in Omaha, and that's there's some really smart people business-wise in that Omaha area.
Yeah.
And he got to know those guys and put them on his strategic committee and just learn how to do line item budgets. And if you've ever been in business, and I have, you have a budget, and if you want to spend money in one area, you better cut in another area, because it's got to come out to zero at the end. You can't lose money. I mean, I want to tell you, if I sent a budget to Warren Stevens that lost money, I think I would probably I just knew not to do that. And it's about they're trying to come up with 15 to 20 million, I think, is the way I understand it. That's what they think that it's going to be, the revenue sharing, what athletes are going to get. And that's not a 50-50 split, but they think that, and I think Trev Alberts says this in his that opening press conference at Texas A&M, that they think that will get a thumbs up from the courts and from Congress, and they'll get some help if they do something like that. So it's coming. Is it 5 years? Is it 8 years? But it's maybe sooner than that. It might be 3 years. But it's what we're doing right now, everybody knows is not sustainable. In other words, free transfers. And if they'll pay players, they might set up some restrictions and get some antitrust help from Congress.
All right, that is your SEC update this morning, brought to you by our friends at Burden Pools and Spas. They're celebrating their 46th anniversary, nearly 50 years of doing business with you in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. You're going to get great deals on in-ground pools, savings up to $12,000. And construction starts in May. You're going to get $1,200 off Doughboy above ground pools and $5,000 off Doughboy semi in-ground pools. Hot tubs start at an unbelievable price of just $39.99. Celebrate with us and pocket huge savings at Burn Pools and Spas in Springdale, in Fort Smith. We do more than just build pools. We build long-term relationships. BurdenPools.com. Clay, as we wrap up the show here with you, appreciate you jumping on an hour early. Make sure Tommy pays you double when you get that next check. Your beef this morning. I also forgot to tell you, I ordered food from a restaurant yesterday, and I sent it to the wrong location in Conway, which I couldn't get. So I wasted $13 last night, and hopefully I get a refund for that. So that's another beef, is my stupidity. But what is a beef of yours this morning?
Well, I'll tell you about the stupidity that I did. I ordered a COVID shot at the Walmart Mountain Home, which is 17 miles away. And I got there, and they don't have any record of it. And then they started checking around in their databases, like, you ordered your COVID shot from Mountain Home, Idaho. So they gave me my shot. They didn't have a problem because, they take walk-ons. But they thought that was pretty funny.
Now I know there's a Mountain Home, Idaho.
Is people going slow in the left lane. I drive from here to Fayetteville, and there's some passing lanes, like go up a hill. You've got 2 lanes on the uphill side. that you can pass, and there's somebody poking along in the left lane, and there's somebody in the right lane. So you got a passing lane, and nobody's passing anybody. I've learned just sit back and take it, man. That's my beef.
No sense of getting riled up, even though it's very difficult sometimes. Well, Clay, I know you're out fishing for about 4 hours yesterday. I would assume that you're probably going to get some fishing in today, so enjoy it, my man.
4 hours of radio. There may not be much time. I got
man.
2 more hours to go this afternoon.
I'll make sure Tommy pays you not double, but triple. That's going to do it for us here on
Okay, Ty.
All right, good stuff from Clay Henry, the Hall of Famer, as always. Back in these chairs tomorrow. Tommy's back. Chuck's back tomorrow, starting at 6 a.m.
Hello there, homeowner. Roger Scott for Leaf Guard Gutters of Arkansas. Are you tired of dealing with clogged gutters, climbing ladders, and worrying about potential damage to